is the second take of the prelude to Breaking the King's Spell. Let me just... Ooh. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being you. Please excuse, I don't know why that just happened. So somebody just called me. Oops. Oh no. Oh no. It's a body. It's a human body. Just joking. I often laugh when people try and make me feel ashamed of my vessel, because I'm just so grateful to be alive, right? Let us get back to work, shall we? Okay. If you're just joining us or returning, then you will find that this is a prelude to a live that is happening tomorrow at 11 o'clock in Sydney, Australia time. Called Breaking the King's Spell. Now let me just get back into the channel. I just don't know why that just happened. It's just so unusual. So I've been doing lives before when someone's called me, and it calls and then it just comes, you know, the call finishes and you're back on the screen, right? And just then it basically went completely black from my perspective. So I couldn't see myself, I couldn't see anything. And there were still people in the room. So it's just so unusual. It's just so strange. It really is. Okay, let's get into it, hey? I'm working with a non-digital filter that we have here today. If you're a creator, you might want to try that as well. Please give me clear divine guidance. That'll be most beneficial for everyone involved. Yes. Honestly, the neighbors must be almost out of things to do with those big loud machines. What was I saying? Yes, talking about if these king's men, right? King's minions is what we should really call them. Because men should really think for themselves, right? These minions are moving into working in the dream space, in the astral space, because they know that the evil doings that they do in the 3D reality have been exposed, yeah? Have been exposed and seen for what they are. And that is because of the hard work that you have done, the incredibly deep shadow work that you've done, the soul healing you've done, the work with your inner child that you have done, the immense task of balancing the power and the energy between divine masculine, divine feminine, which is very significant at this time. Even though you would think it wouldn't be at this day and age, but It definitely is. Now let me just temper myself, right? If you don't have any friends in your 3D reality who are feminists, then hi, I can be your feminist friend. We can learn from each other, we can teach each other, and together we can help break, finally, the last bits of residue of the king's spell that has indeed been broken. Yeah, and as I said in the first part of this prelude to breaking the king's spell, I'm so honored to have the presence of Kali working with me today. I should make sure that it's very clear that I am not of Indian heritage. As far as I'm aware, I am absolutely not of Indian heritage. And as somebody who's been an activist for since I could walk and talk, I'm still learning how to openly talk about working with different deities, different gods, different frequencies and energies and mythological beings from different cultures. That's something I'm really working with. I also know that as a shaman, using that word, as a female shaman, I am made to trigger people. And that's not a very easy or fun task. Most of the time, it's really not. A shaman is meant to trigger you. A shaman is meant to be able to reach deep into the darkest depths of yourself and show you where you need to do some work, where you need to do some healing, where you need to shine some light, okay? So yeah, Kali, who is so connected to fire. And this is a very big message that came through that I feel like I'm going to be repeating in tomorrow's live of Breaking the King's Spell. I was watching this YouTube video the other day of this fellow who speaks about targeted individuals, who speaks about his own lived experience as well as his divine connection to God. And he's not somebody who, like, we wouldn't agree on everything in life, yeah, but we definitely both believe in a higher power. We both believe in what is good, what is kind, what is righteous, and the idea of helping humanity heal, yeah. And he's got good energy. He can sometimes, he's like me, like I can see like there's a little like flicker of rage inside him, and it's like, what do we do with that rage? What do we do with that power? What do we do with the righteous rage that swells up when you are a good person, when you can see there are so many wrongs taking place in this earthly existence and beyond? Because he knows about demons, he knows about curses, he knows about demonic forces, as well as God, as he would refer to the higher powers. And he said this one thing, which is something I've heard over and over again. Like, this is a common expression, and I'm finding that a lot of powerful messages are actually coming through in the form of these common colloquial, like just, normal sayings that people say. And he said, he was talking about, creeps or idiots harassing people, as well as, and them being like overtaken by a demonic force, which wants to and tries to get you out of your element. Now, I've heard this expression said a billion times in my life, countless times in my life. And I've always, because I'm very, part of the way that I perceive information and communicate information is through a very, very strong visual neurological space inside of me, inside of my mind's eye, right? Very big third eye, blah, blah, blah. As I say, without any ego, even though I'm a woman, so look out. And when I've heard this expression, take you out of your element, I've always imagined it, the first thing that's always come to mind, it connects to that saying, a fish out of water. And so I get this image in my mind when I hear that saying as somebody pulling a fish out of the water. So it can't swim, it can't survive, and it starts choking in the air space, right? Okay, we're not going to go for too much longer because we're only on 10% battery. Oh, hello. Rebel girl, you are the queen of my world. Simmer down now. So I've always heard it as I've always seen this image of taking a fish out of water. It blew my mind when this man, who does other work here on YouTube, said they are trying to take you out of your element. And for the first time, it dawned upon me, it clicked in my mind, that expression, and I'm not sure if this is true, but for the first time I heard it like, take you out of your astrological element. And I was like, take you out of your element. And then it deconstructed this visual that I always get when I hear that saying of a fish being pulled out of water, of like a person like me or you, us, being taken out of our natural way of being, our natural element. So if you're predominantly a fire sign, energies that want to take you out of alignment with your own natural way of being, your own way that you are express yourself with fire, your own alignment with the frequency and elements of fire. If you're a water sign, same thing, pulling you out of. So somebody who you're naturally emotionally expressive, you're naturally emotionally receptive. And of course, some of the water signs are very much connected to the mother archetype, to the nurturer, to the giver of life, right? Water is life. And so the king's spell, a big part of the king's spell is to take you out of your element and to make you not only be disconnected from your own natural way of being, the way that God made you, if we want to use that expression and that terminology, your natural astrological energy and frequency, which is interesting because I also do frequency work. I work with sound, which I may be doing more of soon. And so that just like blew my mind, opened up this whole other channel, which is part of why it's so important to be able to collaborate with other people and other healers and other seers, I almost said soothsayers, which is interesting. This guy, though, I swear, like I've had a vision of him becoming a preacher. Anyways. The king's spell has been very, very linked into pulling you out of your own natural way of being, astrologically speaking, energetically speaking, nurture nature speaking, and to not only do that, but then make you turn around, look back at your own self, at your own natural way of being, and grow hate, confusion, anger, anxiety, even fear of your own natural element. And this is something that we're going to stop. And this is something that the divine goddesses such as Kali are coming to eradicate, to eliminate, to draw up and remove and draw out. Yeah, it's the energy of drawing out the residue of the king's spell. And I could not have broken the king's spell without you. I hope you know that. Another quote that came through the king's spell is, "He doth takes one out of their element." Separation from the self by force to manufacture illusions of loyalty, duty, and lost sovereignty. And this is, you can look throughout history, if you're a history buff, history, herstory, them story buff, then you will be able to recognize immediately. You're probably in your head, if you're listening to this now, you're probably thinking of a list of 10 different kings throughout history, recorded, documented history, that did this very, very thing of taking away a people's sense of sovereignty, a people's sense of anonymity, a people's sense of being able to think, feel for themselves and make their own decisions about their own life, about their own family, about their own dreams, their very dreams, whether they be astral dreams or bringing a dream to life. You might be an entrepreneur, for example. You may be a creative. You could be anything. What you dream for your life, you should get to have the choice and the free will to make happen. And so it's very telling that this dark king frequency has moved into the astral space because he has been exposed in the 3D space. And that's a really important thing for us to understand. We have, it is possible, let your soul shine. Yeah. And we have water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And we have go for it and make it happen. In order to break the king's spell, we have had to do elemental alchemy healing. We have had to do elemental alchemy. This has been required of us all, both individually and collectively. This has involved walking through the fire. This has involved diving deep into the water. This has involved anchoring, wholly anchoring into Earth, Mother Gaia. And this has involved flying high into the air. The air, of course, being the mind, the cerebral, the thinking, the pondering person. This is definitely connected to gatekeeping and destroying, dismantling the very, not only the gatekeepers that are stopping you from accessing your own internal wisdom and being able to determine, have self-determination and decide who you are in this world, in this incarnation. Because we are having access to our past lives, to higher consciousness, to our inner powers and our inner strength that has never ever actually been tangibly brought into this earthly realm in the way it has at this time. Never. Because even in ancient times, there was a unquestioning of the old gods that allowed, because I often say this, even gods struggle and must battle their own egos. Okay? This may have some codes in it for you. You're welcome to screenshot if you like, only for personal use. Thank you for respecting the art and the oracle. And I think that might be it for now. Also, I channeled this painting the other day. I don't know who this is, but I don't know, maybe it's a frequency or some kind of, I don't know if it's a person in living formation or not. I've been getting that word come through a lot. Formation, formation. Pinks and purples are significant. Yeah, and something about a group of masculines being deeply in love with a mermaid. I think that might be it for today, guys. Okay, one last card to close it off. The irony about all of this is that the pressures that have been placed upon men are not reasonable and not fair and actually not good for anybody, even the men who have some kind of position of power, right? And then it says, don't hesitate, now is the time to act. And what have we got on there? We've got a rainbow with sparkles connecting up two clouds and a rainbow heart with a little guiding North Star above. So something about the North Star is also significant here. Okay. Working with lavender could be important at this time. And I also just want to say about the quote-unquote woman in the red dress in the Matrix. Don't be afraid of wearing red, because red connects you to the divine powers of Kali and all of the divine, heart-centered and fire beings. Also, like, do we ever get to know how she feels, the woman in red in the Matrix, even though she's just meant to be a distraction? But is that all she is? You know? Just a few thoughts I've been having, some channeled messages coming through. Yeah. I see you all again. I might do some more things later. I don't know. I'm very spontaneous. But maybe a tiny bit of structure is not a bad thing, okay? Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully I'll see you in, like, I don't know, 22 hours or something like that, to do a deep, deep dive into breaking the king's spell. I'm just playing. Have a beautiful day, whoever you are, wherever you are. So much love. Pose of harmony.